Well, hello, Michael. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you ever so much for sharing your experience, your project with our customers. I know they'll find it
No problems.
invaluable. Would it be all right if I asked you to cast your mind back before you even got to the drawing stage of your project? When this was a figment of your imagination, what were you trying to achieve, and what was your dream here?
Basically, we wanted to create a large space that was equally as good for kind of entertaining with friends and family, um, as it was comfortable for our two young children. Creating the space for them to play, and obviously for the adults to kind of socialize at the same time. Our previous configurement kind of didn't really work for that. Wasn't open plan or anything like that. So the dream was to create that open plan space that everyone seems to love, and part of that was creating a kind of large corner bifold. So I think it was around about um, God, I think it was about 3 meters each side or something like that. Maybe a bit more, 6 meters. I can't remember, but large bifolds. So and yeah, so that created another issue in terms of blinds. How do we cover those bifolds? We've got neighbours on that side, so we obviously wanted privacy, as well as something to yeah, block the sun on those rare days where we have actually a sunny day. Um, so yeah, that's why we kind of started discussing what we're going to do about blinds.
Well, fantastic. And there's lots of options out there. What options did you look at?
Well, we first of all we were pretty set on going for the integrated blinds. They're relatively costly, but it's a tidy, neat solution. We spoke to some friends that had similar integrated blinds, and a lot of the feedback we were having was that if there was an issue in the future with those blinds, then they're quite difficult to replace. You have to replace the glass as well. Um, so we veered away from that. And also we wanted, because we're perched on a bit of a hill, so the views out across the garden, we've got a relatively large garden that are quite good. We didn't want anything to kind of mess with the sight lines. So that's when we started thinking about our other options. And the research that we did online led us to concealed blinds. We thought that'd be a great option because they're out of the way. When they're up, they're out of the way completely. You can't see them. And I'm a bit of I like my technology as well. So I like the fact that you're pressing a remote and it comes out of nowhere. And I think that can be quite impressive.
It doesn't get more minimalist than that.
No, exactly. And it just means they're out of the way. Young kids can't destroy them when they're up. So yeah, so it seemed like the best choice for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the integrated blinds. Were they manual in nature, or is it possible? Were you looking at more, um, I guess, automated solutions?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, the ones we were looking at are the ones that have got this kind of, I think it's kind of magnetic opening and closing, which again, we've got quite, as I say, quite large span of bifolds, and it just seemed a bit of hard work really. So we wanted really to go for a automated solution. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny. We've just had a customer on the window film side of the business. They've just replaced all their glass units because they had
Okay.
integrated blinds
Mm.
there, and have gone down the sort of they want to keep it minimalist, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's the kicker because they're a nice solution. But if something goes wrong, it,
Yeah, that was our concern really. You're spending all this money, you don't want to spend it all again in a couple of years.
Mm. So with this solution, you've got some blind space boxes, and it's a corner bifold section where two sets of bifolds meet, and you've got a corner, and the blinds need to sort of meet and look neat in that corner. For our customers, Blindspace is a box that gets put into the sort of ceiling above the bifold doors, and it looks like it's part of the ceiling. And the blinds and the hem bar disappears into the box, so virtually invisible.
Yeah, I think you have to have. I think we did a miter cut for the corner. Our builders did. I think you have to have good builders to make sure that they can understand what they need to do. Luckily ours did. And yeah, we're really happy with the result.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, and so you've got a privacy fabric, and you mentioned about heat gain as well. Whether you're too concerned, privacy and heat gain, and keeping your sight lines. So
Yeah, yeah, that's
uh,
all important, definitely.
absolutely. And have you used the automation side of it?
To be honest with you, we've only just had them installed, and we're still not fully living downstairs yet. There's still some snagging to be done elsewhere. But we have played around a little bit with the automation. The controller seems really intuitive, easy to use. There's different settings. We've got 4 blinds with four motors, so you can kind of set. You can set the one you use more often is when you just all the blinds are going up and down at the same time. But if you did want to, because we've got access doors for two of the doors, so if you did want to just raise one of them, you can do that quite easily. And then also you can adjust where they sit. So whether you want them to go fully down or halfway up or wherever. So there's lots of different adjustments you can make just from the controller, which is good.
Excellent, excellent. And how did you find the process? You met Chris, of course, who would have taken you and introduced you to Blind Space.
Yeah,
How did that process work? How can you describe that?
yeah, it was good. Yeah, we involved you guys quite early on in the process, which is always advisable, so that your builders know exactly what they need to install. Obviously, had the box delivered, and then when the builders were ready, we decided amongst ourselves the best way of actually installing the box. We had some issues with some joists that were kind of running where we wanted to sit the box, so we just installed a kind of faux ceiling just beneath the box, so just beneath those joists, and ran that all the way across the width and the length of the extension, which works really well. It just looks like there's some additional steel work there. It's a bit of a feature, really. But again, you can't see that there's kind of any blinds hidden in there, which is quite nice. And then obviously we involve the electricians as well because we need power to the motors. So yeah, process is fine. I think it's, as I said, it's really good to involve, well, to get everything ordered and decided upon at an early stage, really, so that everyone's
Yeah,
prepared for what you need to
yeah,
do.
absolutely. I concur. The earliest you get experts involved in, especially as the building's going up, potentially, if you can get it in at the design stage, that's ideal
Yeah,
of
yeah.
an extension or a new build. Yeah. Well, I've only got a couple of questions left, really, and one of them is is around whether you'd recommend window treats to friends and family.
Yeah, I would. The service has been great. And yeah, really happy with the end result. The product itself is really good. As I say, I've only had it for a couple of weeks, but yeah, looks great, quite impressive when it goes up and down. Yeah, it's everything that we need it to be.
Mm. Thank you. That's music to my ears, Michael.